Let's talk about people that we believe are very well educated. An average Southwesterner believes that our law was cheated. If you go to Facebook, you see a lot of things that we almost strangle you to death. Like, who is posting this? And then I want to match two together: the Southwesterner and the Middle Belters. If you remember, in the book of Why We Struggle, he talked about what was happening in the Southwest, in the Middle Belt. That the Middle Belters were voting against the hegemony of the North, like we want to be. And then there was this way of keeping them forcefully current. And then you go to the West, that the West was level back then. And it seems that the trend has continued. That if you listen to a governor like Otto, you look at the tone. If you read about the tenor of a governor like Joshua Dari, look at the tone of everything. You see that the conflict did not start today. The conflict in the Middle Belt, and we have Benue as the food basket of the nation, and it's not really by name. To an extent, by action, they do farming, and now we have issue there. It seems that it's becoming unbearable. Now we're having IDP camps inside Benue, a state like Benue, and wow, how would you look at that? People that believe that their fathers and their forefathers have been subdued. Go to, Plateau State. Plateau State used to be a hub of ethnic violence in Nigeria before now. And you think shouldn't we look at something like that? These people looks like some people are encroaching on our forefathers' land, and we need to do something to that.
It's actually like everything boils down to the fact that we do not have the right people at the helms of affairs of the nation. Take for instance Benue, like you said. The people that have been governing Benue since the creation of the state, or let me cut it down to the time we return back to democracy, 1999, who are indigenous of what? They are from Benue. The indigenous are either Tifi, Ithekili, or whatever the ethnic group are there. And then you look at Plateau. Who are those people that are governing the state? They have all continually been the people, the indigenous people of Plateau State. So you measure the development vis-a-vis the people governing the state. Who are those people encouraged? It's just like I said on the program this morning. The problem of Nigeria has continually been the elites. They manipulate the thought, the idea they instill on the people in a bid to grab onto power. I've said that this afternoon, and I'm saying it again. Because I cannot understand exactly why somebody who is the governor of the state, who's supposed to be the pusher of the development of the state, being enmeshed so much into ethnic profiling of some people. And then at the end of the day, you measure, what are you doing? If you think these people are actually encroaching on your land, what legal things are you doing to ensure that these people doesn't take over this land from you? If you are not giving your people the right education, if you are not giving them the right health institution, if you are not giving them the right infrastructural development, how do you say you are lifting your people from or guiding your people against encroachment of some other people? So it doesn't make any sense to me when people in governance who are supposed to be solution providers are actually hammering on that solution. Like I was telling somebody this afternoon, these people will come out in 2022 again and start ethnic profiling. This is not because they love their people so much. This is because they want to use their people to negotiate for power. And the only way they find so easy to do that is to read to their mind, read to their sentiment, the sentiment of the people, and speak in the direction of that sentiment so that they can have them at their own side, and then at the end of the day have their vote to get power. So when I tend to not be a fan of trying to look at the ethnic direction towards our problem. Like I have said, the problem has always been that the right people are not in the right place at the right time. If you have people who actually understand what leadership tends to be, they wouldn't be complaining about the ethnic of some people. They would have looked for solution. How do I get my people above board so that these people would not, at the end of the day, subdue them unnecessarily towards the so I don't understand exactly what that means. If they said some part of this north is divided into three. This north is divided into three. You have the northwest, the northeast, and the north central. And then if you are manning your own north central, then what are you saying? You are the people that has been governing your people, and then nobody from the corner, nobody from the northwest has been the governor of Benue State. In fact, we've had an occasion whereby people are saying the former governor of Bauchi is even from Kogi, North Central. And Bauchi falls to the northeast. You have an historical traces to that effect. So it's not all about the ethnic, it's all about the people at the end of affair. How much are they understanding the developmental role of their people? How much are they ready to be able to pick up their people? You cannot be saying this and that because you think this thing is selling from the masses, and then you will not do the right thing. I don't think it's a good thing for me.
Well, let's go to the last section of the country that we've not discussed. That's the corners. What's the corner? And then the corners today seems to be the epicenter of insecurity in this country. And somebody has said that if this is not caught on time, it will boomerang, and every part of this country will pay for it. This is the analysis. Somebody said that there is a recruitment portal for insecurity, like for disgruntled elements in the north. Then what's the portal? Then he said you go to the street every day and see thousands of Nigerians not catered for. When the election comes, these guys will go out to vote. They don't even know their right, they don't know their obligation, they don't know their duty. Nobody's looking at that side. And now, lately, before we go back to the 19th century, even during the Avodah Jihad, you will hear people saying that one of the things that was promised was the revolution of the culture. Like, people don't need to stay on the street. You have to take care of your child. You don't leave your child on the street and expect somebody else to take care of him. I mean, on the other side, somebody will say that, and another person says that. A governor, person like Sanusi has said that we need to curb the Almajiri system and find another suitable system. Governor of Kano agreed. Governor of Kaduna State agreed. But I think they took the wrong directions. They started deporting people to each other's, and then when you deport from Kaduna, somebody from KB will bring people to Kaduna back that these are your own people. You understand? Then the revolution died there. And then you see a certain king, a respected king of the country, saying that he was not an Almajiri. You ask yourself that you were a prince.
You see,
how can you be a prince and still be an Almajiri?
It's a misconception of ideology. And again, I'll still come down to leadership. Let's start from what happens about 2 years ago when that revolution of governorship. I think it takes more effect when COVID-19 became so pronounced that these Almajiri, if they are not taken out of the street, might be the major transmitter of the virus. And then what did we have? We have governors saying, I'm deporting you back to your... I could remember that time I was in the program and I told them that this is not the solution to the problem. Because one thing I understand about life is that if you are collecting something from me that has become part of me, and you want me to leave it in totality, you must be able to exchange it with something more better. If you are not exchanging it with something more better, then you might not be able to take what I have in my hand from me. You're saying these people should get out of the street. What are the provisions that you've made for them out of the street? Have you been able to build an educational institution that can actually perform the same function as the Almajiri schools that these people went to is doing? If you are not providing such a solution, you are taking them back to their parents. What is the provision for their parents to take care of them? If you are not doing all of this, then you tend to have a situation whereby for 2-3 weeks you don't see these guys on the street. But after that 2-3 weeks, you see them coming back on the street because they have to survive. And that's the only means they knew how to survive. So when these trends continue, it's a normal thing. When you see children in their teens walking around without anything, they are easily influenced. I think we were taught in social studies that at that particular period of time, between the age of 13 and 19, people can actually influence you anyhow. So you have to watch your circle at that particular period of time. You have to watch the circle of your children at that particular period of time so that they will not be able to go astray. But in the situation of the North, that age is actually the age they leave their children to fend for themselves and do whatever they like with their lives. You see that when they talk about drug abuse in the country, they said they not have the eyes of it. If they are talking about thuggery, you see, you tend to. So it's something that has established structure, and automatically that will manifest, and the manifestation is exactly what we're seeing here today. So it's all about the sincerity of the leadership to solve some of these problems, because there are problems that has been with us over time. And in a bid to solve them, you have to have probable solutions that are sustainable, not just a cosmetic solution to issues that you now said, I deport them back to the country, to their state, and then that's all I want to do about the Almajiri school. You have to build an institution that can give them education, either formal or informal. You have to find a means by which you establish a skill centers that can give them exactly what they can do with their life if you take them out of the street. You have to find a means by which you create an health sector that can actually give them health orientation and health-wise needs that they need, so that you'll be able to say, I took them out of the street. If you don't do all of that, you continue having the situation that you're having, and you continue having the problem of insecurity. Like Gumi, even though I do not subscribe to his ideology, I think one of the solutions to the insecurity in the corner, I mean the Northwest, is for the government to try as much as they can to make sure that they move development towards that path. Both the state government and the federal government, by providing education. Some of them, it's not actually peculiar to the North, but it's more rampant in the North. Some of them, there are some villages in the North that have never witnessed electricity in their entire life. Some of them does not even know what a borehole is. They couldn't come out of the shit. So all of these things tends to make them think, I'm sorry, like somebody who, like an animal. They do not have a foresight. They do not see the future. And if you are not seeing the future as a child, you tend to go any direction that you're directed to. Yesterday I was reading a news about the exploit of a military in Niger State. They said one of the leader of the bandit, two of his sons were killed while they are exchanging firepower with the military, and he had to surrender. Probably some other children, he fears that some other children will be dying. I asked myself, why would the father be involved in criminality and bring all of his family into the same business? That's because they do not see any future outside that shop. They do not see any future. They do not know exactly what education is. They do not know they can become whatever they want to become in life, having education. So I think the leadership will have to stand up, especially in the corner, like we are emphasizing. They need to stand up. It's not about talking again. It's not about promulgating policies that are not implementable. It's all about you sitting down, looking at the peculiarity of the situation you have, and finding solutions according to those peculiarities. Without that, we continue flying and landing in the same place.
Oh, thank you very much. Now let's look at it this way. To cap this secure. I mean, you talked about the elite. I can remember I was reading one of the line on the platter of gold. He talked about this issue when Boko Haram was rampant, when Boko Haram was still pure in the Northeast. And he made some assertions that talk about what the elite in the North then were saying, that the president then, Goodluck Jonathan, should take the military men out of the Northeast. They said that the military men were killing more people than even Boko Haram.
You see?
I'm driving somewhere. Now, we talk about that. And then, when a northerner came in, all was that shut down. Then my question is this. If something like that were happening, those soldiers that were there, were the only Igbos, were the only Yorubas. And then, I give you another example. We had a certain minister who was then crying that their people were being killed. Why? Some other people were being treated with kid gloves then. And now he's a minister. That part has left him. Was he talking for the time ago?
I've told you, airline speaks for a gain, not for solutions. It's not peculiar to the North alone. Of recent, there is a proclamation by the Attorney General of the Federation, and that says that if the insecurity in the Southeast are not been curbed or reduced, that the possibility of a state of emergency in Anambra will not be ruled out. And then people took him up. I actually speak in support of that position. And why did I do this? Because I've understood over time that our elites only speak. I think we need to know that word. Our elites only speak to the sentiment of the people in a bid to get along with them, so that they will be able to have them to their own side when the time comes for them to grab power. And then the Southeasterners, I could remember about 4 professors or 5 were reported, according to Premium Times, who were saying you cannot declare state of emergency in Anambra because you are not declaring state of emergency in the Northeast, then or Northwest. And I asked myself, should we have the situation we have in the Northwest in the Southeast? Is that exactly what we are hoping for? If that's not what we are hoping for, why don't we solve the problem of the Southeast and let the problem of this Northwest be solved as well? So, if you're talking about that, that has been our position from the beginning. People speak from the perspective of their own ethnic group. It is not for fun. It is not because they love that ethnic group. It's because they believe that ethnic group is their own ticket to power. So they must speak in the thought sentiment of the ordinary masses on the street. And what is the sentiment of the ordinary masses on the street at that particular period of time? It is that Boko Haram is representing Islam. So on behalf of the northern Nigeria, they believe Boko Haram is fighting the fight of Sunnah. And that's exactly the reason why you see the kind of the Minister of Communication today was emerged in some kind of report some times ago, because he was actually speaking in favor of Boko Haram at that particular period of believing that they are killing their people, not the criminals. And that's exactly what we are seeing in the Southeast today. Many people believe that every action against the IPOB today is against the Igbos. And as such, they ethnically profile the whole situation, and then at the end of the day, curb the government in a bid not to do the right thing for them. So, it doesn't start today. That's where I'm going. And that's not a trend we need to do. And that's exactly the reason why the ordinary masses must understand exactly what is beneath all these positions. Because they are positions for negotiation, not on behalf of you or me, but on behalf of themselves. If somebody is saying, at that particular period of time, Boko Haram have started bombing everywhere, and then somebody is still saying that because there are people, you should move the military. And now, in 30 years, Northeast cannot recover from the effect of Boko Haram. Yes, the space is reducing today. But what about the trend of development? It has been reversed for a period of more than 3 decades before they can recover from those assaults by these criminal elements. Even the Northwest that doesn't have such presence, they lost. Look at the effect on our GDP agricultural wise. Many people, according to statistics, cannot actually go back to their farm. If you cannot go back to farm, and some people, that is their life, that's their way of life. That's how they get their own source of life. And then they cannot go and fend for themselves. Then you increase poverty. You increase the burden on the government. You increase the burden on individuals. So it's all encompassing that if you are not doing the right thing, then the consequences at the end of the day will be on you, and it will be on the generality of the masses. And that's exactly the reason why sometimes I seem to have a firm stance on some issues, that if, like I used to say, if as a leader you follow the trend of the people's discussion, you might not be able to achieve exactly what you want to achieve.
Okay, now let's look at this from another angle. Like the new baby in town when it comes to insecurity, the banditry issue. And some people believe that the current federal government is treating this new baby with kids' glove. And from the trend you have said, the current federal government proscribed hip-hop as a terrorist organization. Maybe for one reason or the other, because the former president was close to the site where hip-hop was running riot. It didn't deem it fit to proscribe them terrorists. Now, what do we have? A president from the south, and then the president comes in, prescribe, and the bandits as terrorist group. Is this a trend? Are we saying that do we want to continue running this country as a sentimental organization? Please wait. from what you said, the people that are facing this problem, the banditry problem, are people that have to go to farms. And I think you will remember that there was a time when some people were killed in the northeast, and then the spokesperson to the president said that they did not collect clearance before they go to. They have to collect clearance before they go there. That is not even sweet in the ear. Like, that's the first thing. So now we are all feeling the brunt. Don't go outside there, go and get your food. You know that it's not about inflation alone. It's not only the economy. The security situation is contributing a whole lot to everything. And then somebody has said that I think it's high time we negotiate unity. It's not about this disrupting the whole thing, but let's talk. Let's sit down and talk. Somebody said that if you want to help this country, I think the Southerners need to help the Northerners, because there is a kind of iron curtain between the South and the North. An average Southerner believes that you can't be a friend with an average Northerner. An average Northerner believes that you can't be a friend, but our leaders are elite.
So that's the point.
That's the point. Let me come in. Our leaders are elite. You see a certain governor from the South, another governor from the North, taking to themselves, I want to take
talking to themselves. They are not just talking to themselves. They take Ajimabi gave
took a graduate's son. The graduate's daughter.
So it's just.
But what we want to talk to us, they spill this.
I have told you, it's a means of negotiating for power. There is not. I keep on saying there is nothing wrong with the country structure. You see, look at it. Go and look at it. Vast majority of the developed countries in the world are ethno-religious countries. They have different ethnics. They have different colors, they have different religious beliefs, and they are thriving. Hardly would you see a mono-ethnic country anywhere in the world. You tend to have them mixed, and they are thriving. Why are we not thriving? That's because some people believe that their own fortune, their own development, their own growth lies within this crisis. I was citing an example on a program on SBS FM this morning. I said, you look at Abaribi. Abaribi has been at the National Assembly since 1999, and he continues going there, even though the kind of development he's bringing to his people are minimal. And then why would somebody be going to that place continuously and nobody is challenging? You know why? Because each time Abaribi speaks to the sentiments of his people, and they adopt it. The idea of marginalization, they don't allow us to heal. They don't allow us to heal. The idea of marginalization has been planted into the mind and psyche of an average Easterners. And then when he wants to speak to that, he comes out and says, oh, this is marginalization, and the people buy the sentiment and they followed him. That's exactly what you see across board. They believe that we are gullible. They believe that the masses are gullible. So we sold to them and we're actually not gullible. It's the law of nature. Every nation's ideology, growth and development are shaped by the elites. It's unfortunate that we have selfish elites that actually exploit our deficiency to be able to continue getting hold of the power that we are giving them as a mandate. So if you're saying we needed help, that's the essence of nationhood. Nobody has it all. No region has it all. We have what we contribute differently to the national purse through different means. The South says they own the whole, which contributed majorly to our revenue over the last 40 years. But you have the North giving you the food that you are eating. You have the Southeasterners giving you innovations. They produce things that are today called the local content that we have today. You see them producing some kind of so that alone is and even the Nigerian as a country, whatever recognition we have today was a subject of our togetherness. The moment we break, then you have a small ethnic or nation, which they cannot actually negotiate so much on the table when it comes to national politics, international politics and issues. So it's not us, like I used to say. It's not about the ordinary masses. Like I said, in the last 1 week, I've been to the South-West and the Southeast. I work in the North Central. I've been to the Southwest. I've been to the North. I understand exactly how the people on the street, up to as we are speaking, there are Igbos in the corners transacting their business without any problem. You go to the southeast today, you still see the Hausa guys doing their own thing without anybody having anything. But when you see the people speaking to the national leaders, they speak with fire, and you think the country is immersed in fire already. So it's actually a means of negotiating for power. The better we understand this, the good for the development of the country. So, and then the banditry in the north, in the northwest, is actually an unfortunate thing, because if you look at a nation, a state, which has suddenly a religion as their way of life, as their culture, and then you see criminality thriving, you ask yourself, what is that religion teaching them?
When you see a man that's supposedly a religious pillar being an enabler of such thing, and somebody will tell you that it did not start with Sheikh Gumi. We had this almighty Mighty Allah. I mean, giving ultimatum, going on national TV to do all sort of things. But it seems that when you have the same thing from the other side of the country, it's their eyebrows will be raised. And then when it happens from another side of the country, the government seems to be looking away. Somebody said that one way or the other, Sheikh Gumi should answer some questions. Sheikh Gumi has actually answered some questions and said that, hey, I'm not the overall leader of any bandit group. Go to their villages. They just ask anybody you see. They will tell you where they live. They will tell you whose father they are, whose mother they are. That they are the people that are living around. Now we are talking about injustice. Now these people feel they are being maligned too. But one way or the other, maybe they are not so much educated, so much elated. They find it difficult to make their brunt to make it public, and through legal means and public means. They are taking laws into their own hands. And how do we get out of this? And how do we rush out of this keg of gunpowder?
You see, the problem in the country has two dimensions: the economic aspect of it and the political aspect of it. The economic aspect of it has to do with injustice, as you call it, marginalization, not being able to do something worthwhile for themselves to live the kind of life they want to live. But there is a political aspect to it, because automatically there has been this insinuation that these people are actually getting some support from the political actors in a bid to be able to at least use them as a means to get to power. And you've seen an example about two months ago, I think, from the Zamfara State House of Assembly, 2 State House of Assembly members were actually suspended. I saw a video clip in Sokoto that one of their political leaders was involved in banditry, giving them ammunition and some other sorts. So it's actually a thing that we need to sit down. Like I said, like I started, it's all about leadership. If the people in power cannot come together to find solution to some of these problems, both those ones that are coming from the economic aspect of it and their greed in political aspect of it, they will continue having. I don't know whether that has been verified, but I think yesterday there is a case of an House of Rep member from Anambra that was caught with 57 AK-47 and some other ammunition. I don't know whether that has been confirmed, but I saw the trend on the social media. So you tend to see that these people are actually using some of this insecurity as a means to get negotiation, as a means to get to power, as a means to be able to blackmail their opposite party to be able to. So it's all about us as a people, and the sooner we realize that these people are just using us to get exactly what they want to get, I don't think we will be able to get out of this mess.
Okay, now let's talk about an African Nigeria. We have been here, and it seems that we are trying as much as possible to wake up from our slumber. And what do we need to do more?
I think the media too I think the media too needs to help us in this wise. You see, there are some things that, like this morning I was on a program, on a radio program, and somebody said something while he called in. He wasn't part of the guest of the program, but he said something while he called in. He said the media too are contributing to this, to fueling this insecurity. And you know what his direction? His direction was that somebody like Gumi should be allowed to speak only to himself and not to us. Because when Gumi says something, the media rush there, pick it and hear it to the entire world. So some of these characters needs to be shown the exit door to access to media. I couldn't understand why Gumi will be given a special program on Channel TV, for goodness sake. This is a television station that the whole of the world looks up to get to exactly what is happening in Nigeria from. So if you are giving somebody like Gumi, who is advocating for amnesty for criminals, then you tend to have a malign image in the outside world. So if going forward for the citizen, I think some of those, it's a process. Like I used to say, you cannot have it turned over in just a day. It just have to be if you look at how we started the democratic system in 1999 to today, you see that more people are getting involved every day, understanding exactly what it takes to run a democracy, and they are getting involved to be able to speak to power. I've seen so many NGOs coming up to give people the understanding, the knowledge they require to run a democracy. I was a beneficiary of one. So many people that actually understand governance, that understand nation development, needs to start talking to the people. That's why I ask that when IPOB are becoming this powerful in the southeast, when Boko Haram are becoming this powerful in the northeast, where are the elites from that area? How much are they contributing to letting people understand that this ideology is criminal in nature and is not legal, so that some of the youth will not get engaged in such activities? But what we have elite that keeps quiet. So going forward, people, youths, they actually understand exactly what is going on in the country. Needs to speak more positively to the people, to let them understand that the only way out of all of this problem is for us to get involved and get the right people into leadership. It's for us to talk to our fellow youth that if we are having a problem, we cannot solve it by creating another problem. You cannot say because you do not have education, then you are going to be involved in criminality and then start killing other people. Those people you are killing are actually a victim of the bad system that you said you are fighting against. You can imagine in the southeast, you said you are fighting for secession, you want Biafra so that your people will be fine, and then you are killing the same people. How do you solve such problem? So it's because the orientation was minimal. So we need to continue on the orientation part. The media support needs to support this orientation, be able to give the people the right information that they needed and the way out of some of these problems that the country is facing.
Okay, now, in all this, we find ourselves in a country where we still talk about regionalism. The general election is there, and we're talking about where the president comes from. Deciding, Madam Sanusi has said that what we should be doing is ask ourselves, if you want to be the president of this country, present yourself, let's see you. We don't care where you are from. I think it's high time we stop caring about where we are from. I think I could remember the elite from the northern part of the country in the United States when Abraham Lincoln was coming made sure that it was said that even in some states in the northern part, Abraham Lincoln's name did not appear on the ballot papers, so that you will not even mistakenly vote for him to that extent. But with the kind of system they had, the Electoral College believed that no, the Abraham Lincoln ideology is what we need. We have done this for almost 100 years, and it seems that we are still stagnant. We need to try something new. That's why then he became the youngest president. And then you could see the paradigm switch, the paradigm shift. They went through the ups and downs, and now today, a lot of things are cemented. You can go to America today, like we read about Abraham Lincoln. They will tell you that there are some places you get to inside the United States of America. They will tell you that Abraham Lincoln is not a hero; he's a trash. So now we are here. So people are asking for presidency on the basis of regionalism, that it should come to my region. mostly. And we're seeing some people, we rarely see somebody telling us what he wants to do. Please give me this. In America, in the last election, Bernie Sanders was there, telling them that the American economy needs to take a new shape. The socio-economic culture of America needs to change. That they need to start looking at Scandinavian countries. And then he was citing Norway as an example. That we need to look at these people. A lot of people have been left behind. And if these people stays behind for too long, they will feel maligned, and then we will have a destabilized country. That was what they had. But we are here. Somebody saying that we give you road, we give you. There's no, clear map. Then when they get to power, they start telling you that it is better. It's worse than we expected. So shouldn't we start asking questions? Start telling people, hey, don't tell me you want to be president because you are from my state. Tell me you want to be president because of what you have to offer.
That's because of the kind of orientation that we had, and we started from that note. That vast majority of us thinks from the perception of where we come from against the perception of the national interest. And if you continue on that trend, I am not a pro rotational presidency. Like I used to say, I like it to have somebody who actually have some values that I think a leader should have. But what we used to have, it's all start. Although it will start with political participation for the youth as well, to be able to influence things from the party level. But what we still have the elites controlling exactly who becomes the president. So it's not a choice, actually, of the masses. Politics is a game of number, a game of structure, a game of organization. That as the election is approaching, people start building structures to be able to bring different stakeholders to the table so that they'll be able to have a common front. And when they do this, they present an aspirant. I don't want to say that our democratic system is backward, because even in the United States, that you will say that they are the grandfather of the democratic system, you still tend to have two parties dominating their presidencies for the past 100 years or so. It's difficult for you to see another party coming on board to say we want presidency of the United States. So you have APC and PDP in Nigeria, and people will vote for those parties. And if that's the case, what kind of aspirant are they producing? So that's exactly what brings about the outcome of who becomes the president in this country. So it's about us looking at those aspirants and selecting out of the two evils which is the lower evil. That has been our situation over time. So what do? We need to continue, it still bounds on what are we going to do in orientating ourselves to be able to select the right leadership. The likes of Sanusi Lando Sanusi to have a job to do. They need to start the revolutionizing our democratic system from the party level. You cannot keep working from outside without infusing people into the system so that they'll be able to implement whatever you have in ideology. If you are staying out and the likes of Wike are the one controlling the party, then they tend to produce whoever they want as president that will do their own bidding. It's not about you, like I used to say. It's not about me and you on the street. It's all about their interest. And if they think this is the kind of person that will protect their interest, they'll put that person there because they control the structure that produces exactly what you have in the president. So if you're thinking about regionalism, I think as at this particular period of time, you might not be able to take that away from our polity, because we have, even the ordinary masses on the street have that ideology. I tell you, even myself, sometimes ago when Bukola Saraki was about a month ago, they said Buki was actually trying to contest for the presidency, and there is this uproar about zoning the chairmanship of the PDP where it belongs to the North Central. By virtue of what we've been having since we returned to democracy, if you have the national chairman, you cannot have the president in the same region. Yeah. So that becomes a subject of discussion on the social media. Somebody was jokingly mocking him that he should contest for the chairmanship. And I told that person that for the chairmanship, some of us might not have interest in whatever that becomes. But if he's contesting for presidency, some of us will support him. And that wasn't basically because I think he's the best. It was basically because I think he comes from where I come from. Okay, you see that sentiment that is coming up because of the kind of orientation and the kind of system we are currently running. Majority of the people believe that if I have this leadership for my own region, I'll be able to have the large chunk of the national cake. But what do you have in return when you have such thing? When Jonathan was the president, South was not developed more than it should be. Buhari has been the president for the past 6-7 years.
No, Northwest
has not. So it means that it is not even about. But for now,
when I give you, from what you're saying, let me just give you an example. We've been having Northern presidency for donkey years, but only Jonathan deemed it fit. Not John. It didn't start with Jonathan, but he actually elaborated it. The nomadic education of Obasanjo era, then the Almajiri schools of Jonathan era. Those are the people that say, talk about the
practical solutions
to
the problem.
Like that. And then these guys are not from that places. So talk about capacity.
No, you think about it too. I give you an example. There was a time there is a problem with there is Nigerian liquefied natural gas. They are currently constructing that 27 for producing natural the liquefied gas that we use at home. And when Jonathan was there is that plan to build it, but it was scuttled. Why? Because there is a fight between Bayelsa and Rivers, believing that if they took that 27 to Rivers, that will scuttle the process of liquefied natural gas in Bayelsa, and it is a kind of rivalry, and Jonathan cannot solve it. And this is something that brings about multi-million dollars investment into that region. It's from that region. So sometimes it's all about the person in power. It's all about you being able to solve the problem that you are meeting across. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we're having such a situation that we have to think about having our people in power before we can get exactly what we want to get. And that's one of the cardinal point of change that we are canvassing. That we should be able to say, if I am a Nigerian, I should be able to get what belongs to me if I have the competency to actually do it, either in job or even in political appointment, political positions. So until we reach that level, we will still continue talking about, it's happening at the state level too. Take for instance in Kwara, for the past 1-2 years, we've been having people coming together, Kwara North coalition group, saying that they want the power to come to Kwara North because they've not had it since we returned to democracy. So, and you cannot wish that away for now. But while we are doing that, while I knew that that might not be totally wished away at this particular period of time, I have today canvassing that irrespective of whichever region they said this power should be going to, then the party should be able to present us with the best from those regions, so that we'll be able to have something, some kind of development that will, somebody who can actually drive the development, somebody who can actually drive the unity of the country. Because at this particular period of time, I think we need it more. Somebody that can unify the whole of the country.
Thank you very, very much. It has been a lengthy discussion. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Tajudeen Habeeb. Thank you very much, our viewers. I remain Abdulqadir Isiaq once again on your program, Issues and Reality. Do have a lovely day.